How the hell are we doing today? We're back in the basement tying flies. This is Wayne Gravatt with fishheadvideos.com. And the fly we're going to tie today is, for lack of a better term, I just call it the Irish caddis. About 20 years ago, me and my family went to Ireland, and there's a lot of rivers and there's a lot of lakes, and there were a lot of fishermen, but there weren't a lot of fly shops. We had a hell of a time finding a fly shop. But finally I found a fly shop, and we went in, and I asked the gentleman in there what his best-selling fly was, and this is the fly that he showed me right here, the Irish caddis. It's a good one. It's easy to tie, kind of a trademark of a lot of my flies. If you're going to tie flies, you're going to lose flies, and if they're easy to tie, you don't feel too bad. So with that said, a little housekeeping again. We need you to hit that subscribe button. We're getting a lot of likes, a lot of views, but not as many subscriptions as we'd like to get. So please hit that button for us. And thank you much for that. With that said, let's get started with the materials. The hook we're going to use today is a size 12 dry fly hook. I tie this particular fly in size 18s to about size 8s. So down here, this body material is just a standard Red Heart yarn. You can buy this yarn anywhere. You could use Antron yarn there. You could dub it. There's a whole host of things you could do. Anything there would make it real easy for you. I'm just going to move that. The wing you can use a couple different things. This is polypropylene yarn, and I buy this stuff online, and that's a heck of a buy for $6 or $7. There's more than a lifetime there for almost anyone, including myself, who's a commercial tyer. But it's a good product. You can use elk hair there or deer hair. One note on that is don't stack it. Just leave it as is, and don't get it too long. Keep it reasonably short, just a little bit beyond the bend of the hook. Then for the head, in this case, we're going to use a gold 2mm yarn. And I'll show you some examples. Oh, excuse me, foam. I said yarn. And I'll give you some examples of some other color schemes toward the end of the video. And the thread, in this case, is a 6/0 wax thread. It's a Danville thread to match the body color. And with that, let's get started. First thing we want to do is to get a nice thread base on there. It prevents that foam from sliding. And I do that on almost every pattern, as I'm sure you've noticed. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of this yarn, or dubbing, whatever you're going to do. But the point is to do the whole body, to kind of keep the body somewhat uniform, and to give that foam, when we tie that on, something to grab onto so it doesn't turn easily. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to bring the thread back up to the eye of the hook, and we're going to trim us a piece of foam. So I want you to notice how we do this. So you're just going to get a straight edge, and keep in mind I've been cut doing this, so be careful. I'll guarantee you can get cut doing this. Okay, you're just going to lay that straight edge along there. And just cut that just like that, simple. But I'll tell you, I've got a few nicks and cuts from that, so I caution you to be careful. Okay, you can do this a couple ways. I kind of like to do it. I figure that foam is going to go about half the hook shank, so that's about the right length right there. If you set that up there, and I'm going to tie that off to the extension to where it's going to be, and then that's going to fold back, I'd say that's very, very close to what we want. So again, look at that. Something like that. You can always trim it a little bit later. I cut this foam off just like that, much like you would for like if it was the tail, the body of the fly. All righty. Now, with the point going away from the hook, we're going to set that on there right there. And we're going to tie that on right. You can see right there under, see the eye of the hook right there. I think you can see that. Okay. Now we're going to hold on to that little tag of foam, and we're just going to, and that foam will turn on you a little bit until you get some really nice tight wraps on it. Just like that. Okay. That looks good. Okay. Now, we're just going to leave that thread right there. And we're going to wind this yarn or dubbing or whatever you're using here just for the body. We're going to bring that up there. But I mean, see how simple this is. I mean, it's so much easier than dubbing or anything. And I'm going to bring that up just to the start. I'm just going to go up onto the foam just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, like that. We're going to trim that off of there. Okay, now we're going to take some of this polypropylene, and again, you could use elk hair or deer hair. Just don't stack it. And I'm going to just take this wire brush, and I'm just going to give that a few brushes, and I've got a fairly full wing. It's not really full. All fluffed out, it looks bigger than really what it is. I'm going to trim off those tags. Okay. And I'm going to set that right against the start of the foam. So right where the foam is tied over the eye of the hook. I'm just going to lash that down. Just like that. Now, I'm going to come back. I'm going to hold on to that yarn. Now, if it's the deer hair or elk hair, you don't have to trim or anything. And I want to go just past the barb of the hook. Or the bend of the hook, excuse me. Which really makes a nice, I mean, that's a very nice profile of a caddis wing. You can look at that. That's right on money. Now, we're going to bring that foam over and pull it pretty tight. We're going to bring that foam over, and we're going to tie a small head, just like that. So notice how that just sits right over the middle of the hook. We're going to whip finish. Little head cement. Done deal. Now that's a good fly. Now, some other colors that I do in this, and you want to kind of match the body color with a more colorful sometimes, and not always. Like in the case of this black one, that's black yarn with black. This is a dark brown with a pale orange that almost looks pink. This is a real good color and a popular one right here. So you got this with a bright orange with a kind of a rust-bound body. But you can come up with a lot of different color schemes, and this will cover a whole arena. Anytime you encounter a caddis hatch, this is a good one to do. And one note on this too is when I fish this, I fish it off of a dry fly. Another dry. And I only use about a 6-inch leader off of a dry. And it's a good one, so just hold on. You're going to catch a lot of fish. Thanks for viewing. And the last thing that I want to leave in your mind is please hit that subscribe button. It's free. And thank you for viewing. Give him hell.